This will define everything for the New York Knicks as everyone is speaking out against Tom Thibodeau for an absolutely absurd stat for this New York Knicks team right now, while also Tibbs made a statement that absolutely he did not back up, and fans are trying to figure out what is going on with the New York Knicks right now. And we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you're enjoying the content, if you're having fun, and you're part of that 62% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe. This is the place to be for all New York Knicks content. We're having a bunch of fun on this channel. We're doing a bunch of different things. Once I get logged back into TikTok, we're going to get YouTube Shorts / TikToks every other day, so you guys don't want to miss out on that as well. But let's jump into the video. We have a lot to discuss as well. Tom Thibodeau made a couple statements before and after the game, and he did not back them up on the court whatsoever. And New York Knicks fans are absolutely furious at the Knicks head coach right now for completely botching a game against the Detroit Pistons, and so far just not really coaching greatly throughout this series. Now, game one, he did coach very solidly. He used the majority of his bench players who he's used in the season to help this team elevate. However, this game, the past one, he did not do that, and he also made weird adjustments, weird rotations, and then didn't do the most obvious move on offense that a team could have, or that the Knicks could have possibly done, which is absolutely infuriating. Now, taking a look at what Ian Begley said when he broke this down, he did mention that Karl-Anthony Towns has been a driving force for the Knicks offense all season long. He averaged 24 points per game on 52% shooting in the regular season, also shooting 42% from three. He had 23 points in New York's game, one win over Detroit, but Towns was surprisingly relegated to a decoy in the second half of the Knicks' troubling Game 2 loss in Detroit, or to Detroit on Monday. Towns took just 3 shots in the second half against the Pistons. He did not attempt a shot in the fourth quarter whatsoever. And Karl-Anthony Towns spoke on not shooting once in the fourth quarter, despite being paid over $50 million, saying, I'm just trying to have the game do what it does. Just executing what we talked about. I thought we had some great shots, some great looks. You live with those kind of great shots and great looks, especially when you fought back in the game. I'm sorry, but what? What does that even mean? You had a bunch of great... No, you didn't. You didn't get the ball. I don't blame Karl-Anthony Towns a ton. I do kind of blame him because he should have demanded getting the ball. He should have yelled at his teammates and say, hey, I have Tobias Harris guarding me. He's 6'8". I'm 7 feet tall, a lot bigger than him, and one of the most skilled scoring big men, if not the most skilled scoring big man in the NBA. Let me cook. And what happened was the Detroit Pistons would hide Jalen Brunson on Josh Hart because Josh Hart was not shooting a bunch of threes or shooting a bunch of jump shots, so they'd be able to force double teams. However, those double teams are often late enough that if Towns rushed, he could have been able to get baskets and get shot attempts, but instead he didn't do that. And Tom Thibodeau didn't do anything to help Karl-Anthony Towns use that mismatch against Tobias Harris, and that's who I blame more here. I put this more on Tom Thibodeau for not being able to execute what you need out of one of your superstar players. You have a man who's incredibly talented at scoring down low, and you're not using him because you're afraid of the double team. Figure something out. You're the head coach of the New York Knicks. You can't figure out a way, like, subbing Josh Hart out for a shooter or subbing Josh Hart out for Mitchell Robinson so Jalen Brunson can't just leave him so Mitch would get an offensive rebound every single possession and put it right back up and score. You can't make either of those two minor adjustments. That's too difficult. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand what the hell Tom Thibodeau was doing when he was coaching this game. It was one of the weirdest coach games I've ever seen by him. It was just a really poor job done. And he said he's getting touches, meaning Towns. He's making the right play. If he's getting double teamed, I don't want him to shoot the ball over 3 people. That makes no sense to me. First of all, if you get double teamed, you're being guarded by 2 people. But I understand the hyperbole that Tibbs is saying. And well, here's the thing. Draw up a play for Karl-Anthony Towns to get one-on-ones at the rim. Again, it's the same thing. Why are you acting like you're a fan? I don't understand why Tom Thibodeau is acting like he's a fan of the Knicks and not the person who makes the decisions. Be the decision maker that you are. You're the head coach of this team. Draw up plays, and if you're not gonna relegate it to someone else who's an assistant coach to draw up plays for this team and to get guys set up, whether it's Daisy Yoshimoto, Andy Greer, whoever you want to use, Rick Brunson, No matter who you want to use on your bench, you have guys who could draw up plays. Mo Cheeks, you have a million different assistant coaches you could call to. Be like, hey, draw up a play so we can get Karl-Anthony Towns this mismatch against Tobias Harris where he won't get double teamed, or if he does, there's going to be a really wide open three-pointer for Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Deuce McBride, anyone to shoot. Or you have Mitchell Robinson in there and make sure Duren can't just leave Mitch so Mitch can get in there and get an offensive rebound if the play breaks down. So Mitch can basically sit in the dunker spot and wait for that double team. And Towns, a very talented passer, can move the ball over to Mitch for an open dunk. Or he just shoots it and Mitch is under the rim, and Jalen Duren, if Mitchell Robinson's boxing him out, is probably not getting the rebound. Mitch is an incredibly talented rebounder. Now, so is Duren. But if Mitch is there, he'd have greater positioning. And I'm going to bank on Mitchell Robinson with better positioning over Jalen Duren with worse positioning. I think most Knicks fans would feel that way. So I don't understand why Tom Thibodeau's acting like it's not his job and like he's not the person who could fix this problem. But that's how he's acting. And it's really, really a strange way to behave as the head coach of the Knicks. Now, he said, according to Begley, Tom Thibodeau said, I don't really give a crap how they call the game as long as it's consistent. Thibodeau felt Cade Cunningham got calls on drives similar to Brunson's that he did not get called. Tibbs also felt that rebounding was a key factor. Said Mitchell Robinson was the only player who rebounded well tonight. Now, two things here. First of all, yeah, the calls were insane. I'm not going to sit here and act that the calls weren't insane. They were nuts. The fact is the Pistons took way more free throws than the Knicks, and it was the differential in the game. It obviously was. There's nothing you can do about it. Some of the Knicks foul calls were absolutely abysmal. They were regular season contact calls. Meanwhile, the Knicks, if they got regular season contact, it was not a foul, as it should be, but the Knicks were getting called on everything. Look, it is what it is. The calls were not even. The NBA likes the playoff series to go out longer than they should, so it's partially that. But now the Knicks have to pick up the pieces and win 2 games on the road in order to look good. Now, can they do that? Yeah. Do I expect them to? Sort of. But it's still really annoying that this is what we're seeing right now, that we're seeing a New York Knicks team get screwed over by calls, and they still have pathways to victory, but Tom Thibodeau's not using them. It just doesn't make sense to me. And look, Cat also has to be more aggressive in this. It's not just on Tibbs. Cat has to be more aggressive. We need to see more aggression out of the Knicks in general. We also need to see Cat's team work to get him the ball. Over the first 2 games of the series, Brunson has passed the ball to Towns a total of 12 times, despite the fact that they're both playing insanely high minutes. Per NBA tracking data, passes from Brunson to each teammate. To Bridges, 38 times. To Hart, 32. To Cat, 12. Why? Why are you giving it to these guys who are not as good on offense as Karl-Anthony Towns when he's got Tobias Harris on him? It's complete malpractice by both the New York Knicks and Tom Thibodeau. Again, it's not just on Tibbs. It's on Cat, it's on Brunson, it's on Tibbs. Now, Jalen Brunson's playing really, really well, so it's kind of hard to criticize him for a lot because he's been holding the Knicks up by a thread. I mean, throughout these playoffs right now, he's averaging 35.5 points and 7.5 assists. He's shooting 44% from the field and 35% from 3. He's taking a lot of shots. He's averaging 42 minutes, and that's been over these 2 games. Look, he's shooting the ball a ton, but at the end of the day, it's Jalen Brunson. You're going to kind of just let him cook and do his thing, but at the same time, he's getting his assists. It's the guys are not, he's not passing to the right guys. I mean, you look at what's mentioned by Tommy Beer in contrast to Brunson and Cat and all this situation. Over a 25-game stretch from the end of October through Christmas, Brunson passed to Cat an average of 13.5 times per game. Towns dished Brunson 15 times per contest. Towns tortured teams with the pick-and-pop jumpers if defenders dropped and gave Cat space. During the above-referenced 25-game span, Towns averaged 4.6 catch-and-shoot field goal attempts per game. Over the first 2 games, Towns has made just 1 catch-and-shoot jumper. For some reason, again, and this goes back to Thibodeau, and again, Brunson and Towns as well, why are the Knicks not running a Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns pick and roll? I mean, it's one of the most lethal plays in basketball, and they're not running it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up to me at all why they wouldn't run this play every single time, but they're not, and it's really infuriating to watch, especially when you look at everyone. Like, Towns now is averaging 16.5 points and 8.5 rebounds per game in the playoffs, and yeah, the shooting numbers are not great. He's shooting 60% from the field. That's great, but 20% from 3. He's only taking 2.5 threes because they're not running pick and pops. They're not running pick and rolls. Towns is just trying to post up, which is the right move when he has Tobias Harris on him, but he's not getting the ball, which is absolutely insane. Meanwhile, Brunson's way more He was passing way more to Mikal Bridges, who's averaging 13.5 points per game. I mean, he had a solid game, especially in the first half last night. But he also has been struggling in the playoffs this far, shooting 23% from 3 and 44% from the field. He's not playing as well as Towns, and he's not as good as Towns. And for some reason, he's getting the ball more. Josh Hart's getting the ball more. And Josh Hart's doing Josh Hart things, but that's not necessarily being a great offensive player. Sometimes he is, and he didn't play poorly on offense last night. He was the only one giving effort, it felt like. It's absolutely insane. And the fact is, if Tom Thibodeau is going to go out there and say Mitchell Robinson's the only one rebounding the ball, why was he only in for 20 minutes? Play him 25 minutes. Play him more. Oh no, his cardio's not where you want it to be. So what? It's the playoffs. Who cares? It's absolutely an absurdly awful coaching job done yesterday by Tom Thibodeau, and I'm not over it. And look, he got outcoached by JB Bickerstaff in Game 2 in 2023 and then won the next 3 games. He could easily do that again. Very, very easily. He could do that again. But he has to. And if this series goes pretty long and the Knicks get blown out by Boston, he's out the door. And at this point, there's a real argument that he should be. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I do think the Knicks are going to be fine. I actually do think they're going to win the next 3 games. I think Tibbs is a way better coach than JB Bickerstaff, and I think they're going to be fine. It's still aggravating, though, and it's not a great sign for the following series against the Celtics. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have a great day and go Knicks.